This is Phil Lamar, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unlimited episode 29. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me as always for lately, anyway, is TFG1 Mike.
Always for lately. Oh boy. Wow, that sounds like a really bad 70s disco song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Travolta's not here, so.
Thankfully, we're not recording this on Saturday Night Fever.
Well, it could be a little greasy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you really are working on your ad-libbing, aren't you?
Dude, I was on a freaking roll today. I don't know if it was because I didn't get much sleep, or if it was because my old friend that I went to high school with that used to work with me was came back to visit today, or caffeine. Not really sure what, but especially the nights that I go to my class, I'm in rare form because I'm sitting in class. I've gotten to the point where I'm comfortable doing irritating voices around people to some extent. So I go out of my way to do them now. For instance, at work, we have this old guy that's in his 70s that sells cars, moves really slow, which obviously he would, he's old. But point being is the owner is 10 years older than this guy in his 80s, and he walks faster than this old guy, so but anyway, like, I pick up the phone because somebody called on his extension, and he has kind of a raspy, deep voice, and he kind of talks slow, but he goes a lot in between his words. So it's entertaining because I can mimic his voice to the point that the other guys think that it's actually him, but I can make him say things that he would never say.
You're such a jerk.
Well, he talks like this when he's talking to you. He's a little raspy when he's talking, and that's how he sounds. So I make fun of him, kind of, which he's fine with, but so I do that at work. Well, I get to my class, and the teacher drones on about random stuff that's probably related, but I don't pay any attention because I'm bored to death. He has us do these group assignments. I understand the purpose for them in school. They're to be team building. I get that. It's a principles of management class, so again, it's team building, and it's also teaching you how to work with people. I get that. We work fine together like our group does. The other groups are a little more dysfunctional. We have 3 people in our group that are useless, but suffice it to say,
How many people are in your group altogether?
8 or 9.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Maybe 10. I don't know. I think we have the biggest group. So, anyhow, we're having to do these group case studies or whatever, and then we have to go up front and present them. Well, there's 4 groups. There's this one group, this guy, he talks with his hands, and he reiterates part of what the case study says.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm sitting here rolling comments off my tongue. So what we do here is we explain things with our hands because it distracts from the fact that we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. And, I'm just, clear as day saying all this. And then, so I'm able to rag on 2 of these groups. The third one, they've got their stuff together. Us, nobody really touches us either. Teacher made a comment about something, and we've told them to get out before. But it wasn't this time, and so I'm sitting here rambling this stuff off, and I'm just babbling random nothing. And then on the way home, I was talking to myself in six different voices.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I've upped the amount. Um,
Oh my
I used to be able
God.
to do two. Now I pushed the envelope. I can actually do six. I was arguing with Beast Wars Megatron, Waspinator, the Joker, um, Scourge, Gollum, and Kermit the Frog. It's a rather
Wow.
weird bunch to be talking to each other because a lot of them are similar, but then you've got the this craziness of of the Joker in there, and then Waspinator's babbling, and um, Gollum talking about his precious, and I'm sure I'm boring the hell out of the listeners in this point, but it was quite entertaining. Uh, it was to the point some of the people in my group during class though they got away from me they're like okay. So, but yeah, that was what went on with me today. But um,
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with me this week. I've been having a really rough week. Uh, It's not even serious crap. It's not even hashtag first world problems. It's just this week has sucked.
you said hashtag.
That's right.
You're gonna start talking in hashtags.
Hashtag hash browns.
Okay, Jimmy Fallon.
No, I don't know. I don't know. All right. Well, let me start out with my week, and then I'll move on to my late night television watching. Cause yeah, no. Um, Here's the thing. Okay, Monday night, you, myself, and Michael Wilson reunite to start the final 15 episodes of All Things Transformers, which is 15 episodes celebrating the 30th anniversary of the brand, since this is the 30th anniversary year. We get, what was it, maybe a 2 hour and something call, and all of a sudden you dropped out, and I'm like, oh crap. And then something happened with me, and I was like, oh no, I hardly ever lose. Like, I can count on my hand how many times I've lost service during podcast recording. It's like less than five in the last 6 years. Um, the modem died, and I spent, I don't know, 45 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes on the phone with a tech support who, and I don't care if this offends people, she basically talked like a boo. Hello, welcome to the Quickie Mart. How may I help you?
Hello,
You know,
welcome to the Quickie Mart. I am Pooh, and I'm from.
yes. She wasn't helpful at all. She kept going through the steps faster than I could like accomplish them. I'm one of these people that I'm physically challenged. I was born with a mild case of cerebral palsy, which basically means I can't do a lot of stuff with my right hand, if anything at all. And she's sitting here. I asked her. I said, "So all as I have to do is unplug the modem, wait 30 seconds because it's a direct connection. I don't have a router. It's just modem to my computer. Wait 30 seconds or 60 seconds or however the time length is, and then plug it back in." She said, "Yeah, you can do that. You should also unplug the coaxial cable." Well, if anyone has ever seen any cable installer put coaxial cables on anything,
It's
they
double
usually
handed.
it's double handed or it's double wrenched or it's double knifed or it's double something, and it's not gonna. I kept telling her I physically cannot do it. What can you do on your end technically to get my internet service back up? And Time Warner, Christ, I feel like we've been bitching about Time Warner Cable for the last 3 weeks, probably because we have, or at least I have anyway. Time Warner Cable, when it used to be Insight, they used to be able to do next day, all day appointments, so you basically didn't know when they were coming, but they were going to come sometime between 8 a.m. and 7 p.m., which is fine with me. But she said, "Oh no, the first appointment is between 8 and 10 a.m. Wednesday morning." Well, this was Tuesday morning at like midnight. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm sorry. I live in a world where once it's midnight, it's the next day. So right now it's 10:57 on Thursday. As soon as it hits midnight, it's friggin' Friday. Okay? End of story. All right, so I said, okay, look, I need someone to come out here today. I cannot be a whole day without internet, and I'm not going to pay for a whole day without internet. And she said, oh, well, I would have to transfer you to customer service for that, blah, 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 blah. And she transferred me to customer service, and it kept on hold. I kept hearing the hold music for about another 20 minutes. And I said, screw this, and hung up the phone. I shut my computer down. I booted it back up. Boom! There's the internet. It's fine. The only real problem I have with this whole stupid customer service experience this time around, she told me it was a planned outage by the company. They should not have... Okay, sure. Everyone has to do maintenance, but... seriously? The maintenance has to be done so people's service gets interrupted? Seriously? Really? That's a little ridiculous. So that was that part of the week. What else went wrong this week? I don't even remember. Crap. I guess so raging on Time Warner. I can't even remember what the hell else went wrong this week. I don't know. But yeah, it's just... I hope it's better when Comcast buys that friggin' place out. I'm sorry. You'll have to edit that. Sorry.
Well, the one thing I can say about Comcast is they are consistent when they come out.
Yeah.
They usually give you a nice small window.
Yeah.
So you can at least plan your day around it. So there is that.
Yeah.
Other than that, the awards thing is wrapping up.
It's wrapped up. I mean, the voting's closed, people.
Well, it's technically not closed, but it's not going to make a difference anyway at this point.
Yeah.
Just saying, because there's still... with this episode being out where it's at, you have basically 13 hours and it's done. Yeah. So it's pretty much decided. And the next week we record the Geekcast Radio episode 60, where we actually discuss the awards and the reveals and the staff picks and the listener picks. I will say I'm quite surprised on some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them I'm not so surprised. Some of them I'm glad that they ranked where they did. Some of them are tied with our choices. Some of them I wish would have never shown up again in the list. It was that infuriating to me. Just more so because I don't care for the films. For some of them.
Yes.
So it bothered me to see certain things. Luckily, some of the staff picks went my way, and some of the voter ones went my way, so it was kind of... But I will say that, surprisingly, there were a lot of ties.
Yeah.
But the only ones we didn't vote on ourselves, the staff, were the Geekcast Radio related ones, which I have to say some of them are pretty staggering. That they won by so much, and then some of them were fairly close.
Yeah.
But there were two in general that were blowing away the rest of them. So
wow. So I guess I can bring up a lighter part of my week outside of my internet service failings. The Blacklist returned this week. Absolutely love that show. Dallas returned this week. The current series, the new series, and the Americans returned this week on FX. Absolutely love those three shows. Earlier tonight, right before, by the time you people are listening to this, it would be yesterday. New Big Bang came on tonight, and man, it was really funny in several places. Really enjoyed that. What else have I been doing? I've been slowly crafting the pull bag, which is our comic book review and discussion podcast. Pogcast, wow,
Podcast.
yeah, Pogcast. Yeah, there's no the D is silent. um, I've been crafting the pull bag into something completely different from what it was in the first year. Some of the main stuff is going to stay the same. After Darks, which is our discussion-based episodes, Origins, and back issue classics, which just kind of started kicking off. We only have 2 back issue classics released right now, but those will be continually moving out. So I've been crafting and figuring that out, and actually, Joe and Art from Off the Cuff are going to be helping me out in the future with some of that stuff. They're going to be actually might be doing some segments themselves on stuff that I just choose not to read. I'll tell you one thing, folks. There may be some zombies coming to the pull bag at some point this year. I don't know exactly when. We haven't hammered out the details, but there may be some dead zombies walking. What else is going on? Pixels the Animation is still going strong for me. Tales of Eternia is back. Beyond the Night has, after this coming Monday, I think, has 10 episodes left until that show's done. You and I are still doing Legends of the Dark Knight. That has 10 episodes till it's done. Actually 9 now that episode 30's out, but yeah. I've just been podcasting my butt off. I'm not going to reveal anything because it's just so epic and awesome, but people will have to stay tuned to find out. All of the plans that we have for year 5 are just have me so stoked again. Like the end of last year, I wasn't ready to quit because this is podcasting and writing and writing reviews and all that stuff is what I do. So I wasn't ready to quit, but like end of last year, November, December, I was like, oh God, I just need to get away. I just need to recharge the batteries, and I'm ready to go now. I've got La La Land Records sent me the Matrix Revolutions 2-disc limited edition set and also the Matrix Reloaded set, so I'm in the middle of writing reviews up for those. This Saturday, there's a new chapter for Batman Beyond 2.0 coming out on Comixology, so I'll be reading that. Just a lot of stuff has got me really pumped to be doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I'm quite excited with some of the things that we've been kind of popping out there lately. I'm actually quite excited for a lot of the stuff that we have planned. There's a lot of things. Ever since the top 100 that we just recently did of the top 100 animated films of countdown, I've been kind of pumped back up. Although I've been busier than all hell,
Yeah.
because of life and just because of the podcast network. Which I'm not complaining. I enjoy it, but I've been so flustered lately just because of everything going on. Like I had to get all the voting stuff ready for that, and that was kind of rushed. And surprisingly, it's turning out well. I heard from you that there's a glitch on a certain OS, but I'll have to fix that next time. But for now, that's just the way it is. I have all that stuff ready for the reveal episode, which should be interesting because the staff won't know anything about it until that part comes up. I think people will enjoy that. Following that, for the year 5 celebration, there will be a chance for people to call in and leave voicemails. There will be a chance for people to send emails to be included into the show. Depending, I may try and do a Google Hangout while we're recording it on our end.
Okay.
So we can still use Skype and everything else. So it should
Right. Yeah.
should be interesting. We'll try that out. Maybe a test sometime on Altered Geek again and see if that works and do that for GCR.
Yeah.
There will be segments from past hosts, current hosts, people that are partnered with us, plus a mega contest,
Yep.
which we're still planning out, but the prizes will be massive.
Yes, they will.
So people will want to stay tuned for that information. And trust me, there's going to be a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, oh, go ahead.
I'm going to say that there's going to be some DVDs, some Blu-ray, some comic. It's going to be pretty massive.
Very cool, very cool. Now, just to let everybody know, not that we want to detract from the Altered Geek listeners, all this stuff that Steve just mentioned is going to be happening in Geekcast Radio episode 65. So go over to iTunes, search Geekcast Radio, click on that podcast, go through our backlog. Please remember that when we first started out, we were very raw, and it has changed. The audio quality and everything else has changed a lot since then, and our presence with with each other and to the audience has changed a lot since then. So, but there are still a lot of really good back episodes of Geekcast Radio. So go check that out. I think I mentioned this before, but I am bringing back Tooncast Beyond for the summer and the winter this year. Not going to reveal exactly what's going on with that just yet, but that'll be coming back. Yeah, that's pretty much, as far as I know, as for housekeeping, that's pretty much all I can think of.
I'm sorry, people, that it was so long-winded, but it's kind of another method to get some of the information out there ahead of time, and I think people will be fairly entertained, or at least I hope so. Otherwise, oops.
Well, I mean, if people were entertained with Mike's TV analytics talk in that one episode, that if they can make it through that, they can make it through 22 minutes of this.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. Like I said, there's a lot of cool stuff coming. We will be at some conventions this year. It's going to be a huge year. Plus, in June we'll have the release of the new site, which we are very excited to promote.
Oh yeah,
I'm chomping at the bit. So I'm not going to release it early, but I'm chomping at the bit.
You leave that ego alone.
I'm not touching that ego with a 10-foot pole. So I think we will take a quick break and be back after this with some brief media news. Alrighty, and we're back with Altered Geek. I'll let you take this one because this was actually brought up by you. I did see it prior to you pointing it out, but you expressed more interest in it, so.
Yeah. Before that, though, I know it is in the script, but it's not in the colored, but I can't believe they're changing the Got Milk ad campaign. I can't believe they're changing that.
Have you seen the new commercials? I actually just saw one tonight with
No.
Mary while I was watching Revolution, and it's like Milk Life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Milk Life? That doesn't make any damn sense. And I was like, why are people squirting milk out of their orifices and their fingers and their legs and, looking like they're spewing milk out of their butt and everything? So I was like, this is weird. I don't get it. The Got Milk made sense, but
yeah. Or what they should have done was bring back Milk. It does a body good. That was the original ad campaign before Got Milk. But yes, what I brought up and I found really fascinating, and everyone that linked this on Facebook to me this week was like, "This will blow your mind." Toy Story: The True Identity of Andy's Mom makes the movie more epic. So you all will have to click on this link in the show notes. Basically, it's a website that goes through its movie pilot and it goes through, and it's a write-up with images that has basically talking about Andy's mom in the Toy Story franchise, and everybody's wondering why Andy has a red hat and Woody has a brown hat. Well, Andy has a red hat because it used to be his mom's, and his mom used to have a certain toy that joined the cast in Toy Story 2. So I'm not going to reveal it. I'm not going to say anything else about it. I'm just going to tell you people, click on the link in the post, go read it for yourselves, and your mind will be blown.
Yes, it's actually quite amazing.
It's very emotional, too, when you think about it.
It does make sense, though.
Yeah, very much so.
It all comes full circle.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that, of course. And then unfortunately, we lost a legend or legendary Ghostbuster this past week, and it's sad to see him go. Although he might be fighting his comrades on the other side or helping them. Harold Ramis passed away this past week, though.
Yeah, I first saw this with the Chicago Tribune story that they put out.
Yeah,
and
we
I
were
was
actually
like,
on a call together, like just BSing.
yeah. Well, yeah,
We thought it was total BS. We're like, no.
Well, no. See, here's the thing. I saw someone on Facebook post that in all caps something about Harold Ramis has died. Just wrong, internet. Just so wrong. Then I went to Google and I searched Harold Ramis dies. And the first thing that popped up was the Chicago Tribune story. And then I started seeing all these other websites that were reporting that it was a hoax. Recently in the media, there have been a numerous amount of death hoaxes for celebrities. I cannot stand this. Why would you even try?
Well, why would you joke about something so serious?
Yeah. And okay, sure, you could make the argument that we as individual people don't know these celebrities, but we kind of do. We know them through their work. We've all seen Harold Ramis movies. Everybody in their right mind has seen Ghostbusters at least once. I just don't understand why they would do a celebrity death hoax story. That's just so wrong. But yeah, I mean, it was very, very disheartening this week to find out that he has passed away. There's an image floating around Facebook, I believe I shared it as well, where he actually comes up out of the ghost trap. And my caption for it was, first of all, Egon's too smart to be caught in the ghost trap.
Yeah, that was actually a really funny image. I'd seen it floating around too. It's very entertaining to see that.
Yeah.
So NBC leaked that they're bringing back Heroes for a 13-episode miniseries entitled Heroes Reborn, which will air in 2015. And then they say, "Oh, watch the teaser trailer," and it's just the trailer of them showing the sun eclipse thing, and then it says Heroes and then Reborn. It's like, ooh.
I never cared for the show in the first place. I watched, I think, the pilot back when it premiered, way back when. And everyone kept saying, oh, well, they keep... And again, I think this really started with Heroes. This current climate of television where they put shows on hiatus for lengthy amounts of time. For NBC recently, their shows were on hiatus because of the Olympics, because of their Olympic coverage. Hey, that's all well and good. It's the Olympics. But, there are some times when television networks put stuff on hiatus or whatever for too long of a time with no real explanation as to why. Like the World Series, the Olympics, the Super Bowl, the NFL playoffs, the NBA playoffs, all that stuff I can understand. But just to put it on hiatus for no apparent reason, that just makes no sense to me. And Heroes was kind of one of those shows where the series kept, oh, we're gonna have season 2 here, we're gonna have season 2 here, and oh, it kept flip flopping. I never cared for any of the characters. I never really got into the show. I won't even be paying attention to this Reborn miniseries.
I'll pay attention to it. I did enjoy it up until they did the whole carnival thing, where the Clock King is there. One of the guys from the show that he was the head of the carnival mutant people. He played Teabag on Prison Break, and he's also the Clock King on Arrow now.
Oh, interesting.
Robert Nepper. So it's an interesting character that he played. But anyways, Heroes Reborn, I guess what the original Inception was, is like the American Horror Story type thing where they changed the cast every season.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, they didn't want to keep the same group of people. They wanted to, completely switch every season, which to me, for that kind of a show, would probably make more sense. Because they kind of ran themselves into a brick wall numerous times and just kept beating their heads into it.
Mm-hmm.
So it got stagnant pretty quick or irritating.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like Supernatural at this point, where they keep having to throw away episodes, and I just want to beat my head against a brick wall and scream at them. I don't get it. But anyways, the Heroes Reborn, I'm interested in it, but a lot can happen in 2 years or in a year and a half.
True.
It could just as easily get canceled again.
Yeah.
Then there's the Lego Movie. We already know your nerd rage against it.
At this point, I just don't give a flying rat's butt.
I will say I enjoyed it for what it was. There were things, and I understand it's supposed to be a kids movie, but there's certain aspects of it that have the Family Guy treatment, where there's the run-on jokes. Like, I could sing this song all day long, and then he sings the everything is awesome, which I wanted to just gouge my ears out. I was like, no.
Let me say something really quick to that, because I said on Facebook, and I'm going to actually add some of this. I said on Facebook, and I'm surprised you or Michael Wilson never commented about this. You might have not have seen it, but I made a comment about the Everything is Awesome song. I would rather listen to the Badgers song, Narwhals, Narwhals.
Badger, mushroom.
Yeah, I would rather... I would rather listen to that in Narwhals over and over and over again than listen to Everything is Awesome. Now, adding to that fact, it just... I understand why they use the song. I get it. It's part of the message. It just... no. I'm just avoiding everything to do with, like, if Lego wants to do more Star Wars stuff, if they want to do more DC stuff, if they eventually want to do, team up with Mattel and do some He-Man stuff, fine with me. That's great. The characters from this movie that are not celebrity characters, I just don't care.
Well, the thing about it is, I didn't mind the voice cast. I actually really enjoyed the voice cast. I could tell who everybody was. So no issues there.
Right.
My beef was more so with the run-on gags. They were irritating to me. And I couldn't get past that. They just kept bothering me. I did think that some of the concepts were interesting, like the Craggle and some other stuff, like, and playing on pop culture on a lot of the stuff. So it was fun seeing that. But again, I see the hype for it. I mean, I understand it. I don't necessarily agree with the hype. It wasn't a terrible movie by any means. It was good, but I don't think it's this great movie that it's touted to be that everybody seems to think it is. It's the equivalent of everybody thinking that Gravity is the greatest movie ever, and it's not.
Yeah.
Which I know I'm opening a can of worms there with something completely unrelated, and it'll get hashed out on the awards show.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my point. I'm just trying to say that it's not as great, and I enjoyed it more at the end when the physical people were in there and they were showing the stuff than the rest of the story.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I've seen the movie. I'm done. I don't need to see a sequel. I don't even know what they would do for a sequel since this movie was so message heavy. So, let's.
Well, the other thing too with that, I actually enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the DC movies because I think the pacing was a lot faster, which was better for this kind of a film. For any kind of Lego film, I think the pacing needs to be fast. So I enjoyed it more than those, but I still wouldn't go beyond that.
Yeah. Okay, up next we have, finally, here's the full Guardians of the Galaxy trailer. Blast off.
What did you think about that?
Still haven't watched it. I've seen bits and pieces, but Guardians of the Galaxy are not characters I know. They're not, to me personally, my own personal opinion, not the network opinion, not your opinion, not Joe Schmo's opinion. To me, they're like third and fourth tier Marvel characters. I don't know anything about them. I have no interest in them. I only have interest in the first tier characters. I probably won't even see the movie at all. I don't know. And it's not me not being prepared for the podcast to be prepared to talk about this. I just have zero interest in seeing this trailer.
I at least watched the trailer. I gave it a shot. I agree. They're to me they're still second or turd. That's staying in there. Second or
Steve at gestradio.com for all hate mail.
No feedback. I don't want it. It's second or third tier characters. Like I don't relate to them. Granted, I don't know who they are, but I also don't know who a lot of the Marvel characters are in general until they hit film. Like I knew enough about some of them, but once they hit film, then I got to actually have a true meaning of who's who. But I watched the trailer and it's actually quite humorous. It's the way they portray these characters is actually pretty funny, and then the way they have to band them together and the space cops essentially that arrest some of them are pointing out the things about each one of them, and then by the end of it they're saying, yeah, they call themselves the Guardians of the Galaxy, but or something, just kind of ragging on them. I can't remember their names for the moment, but I did watch it, and it made me laugh. So I'll give the film a shot.
So is it like Green Lantern funny?
It's actually intelligent funny.
Okay.
It's not like forced.
Okay.
It's actually like there's a character that's using the one guy's like iPod, and the lead male characters like, hey, give me that back, blah blah blah, like just kind of like, you don't know how to use those kind of thing, and it's it's just genuine intelligent comedic portrayal in there. It's not forced in any means. So I'll give the film a shot when it comes out. What did you think about Captain America 2?
Oh, I cannot wait for that movie. I am so stoked for that. I absolutely loved it.
I didn't watch the trailer for that until the other day too, and I was quite stoked for it. It's going to be an action-packed blockbuster. Plus, I know that it leads into Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
So I'm quite excited to see what they do. Honestly.
Yeah. All right. So, are we talking Arrow news now?
Yeah, we can jump into Arrow. I like that better.
Yeah,
It's DC. Go figure.
that's right. That's right. The Arrow team spills on Sarah and Nessa, Sarah and Oliver, Birds of Prey, and more. With no new episode on the CW until February 26th, which is a few days ago, Time of Death. Heir to the Demon was headlined by the debut of Ra's al Ghul's daughter, Nessa al Ghul. Why are they calling her this? Why don't they just call her Talia?
The only thing I can think of is either it's a pseudonym
Okay.
or they're because obviously this is never going to connect to the film verse,
Yeah.
so they're doing what they're going to do. Kind of like having all of Batman's rogue gallery going against Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're gonna have Ra's al Ghul and Ra's al Ghul's daughter and the Clock King go up against, um, even Deathstroke to some extent, or and Deadshot. I mean, those are all pretty much in the Batman Rogue Gallery. Not saying that they can't traverse other people, but the Clock King and Ra's al Ghul are primarily Batman's problem.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind. They kind of mixed another Batman villain that's like a hacker
Mm-hmm.
and the Clock King
Mm-hmm.
into the character of the Clock King for this because I watched it. And then you have, tension between the Felicity character and Black Canary.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a fun episode to say the least. But there's this, like the Clock King is basically like the Oracle, but for the bad guys. But he's also time oriented. And they gave him a motivation that he's basically dying from some incurable disease that also afflicts Mr. Freeze's wife, Nora. It's the same disease that Nora has.
Oh, wow.
So that's his motivation for pulling these heists and crimes that he's trying to steal his money to basically have his sister set. So that's the motivation for the Clock King. But he's like I said, a techno hacker that's also very, very set in his timing of things.
Mm-hmm.
So, he doesn't want to cause death or anything. He just wants to get his way. So he times things perfectly that it doesn't hurt anybody so long as he gets his own way.
I
So
see.
he's not a total douchebag. So, but I like how they're bringing in, the Birds of Prey, the Suicide Squad, and like all these. It's unfortunate that it's all coming through Arrow instead of a Batman show. But I think that's what makes Arrow so strong is that he's basically like Batman.
Yeah.
He's along the same lines, although Batman's grittier.
Yeah.
And Oliver Queen is not as gritty, but he's still close enough to it that it's a passable second for any of Batman's rogues.
Mm.
So I'm just wondering what they bring in next as far as villains, because the Clock King will be back. I'm sure Ra's al Ghul will show up at some point. I don't understand why they're calling her Nissa instead of Talia, but the only thing I can think is that the rights for Talia, for whatever reason, are in the film verse for some reason.
Mm.
Which doesn't tell why Ra's is there, but they'll probably not show him. But I mean, so far I'm very enthusiastic about the show. I really enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot more than I do Agents of Shield.
Yeah. See, for me, because I don't know, I think it's because I now podcast at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays that I just have to wait for Arrow. Arrow's one of those shows where I need to wait, get the season discs, and just watch it on a binge. I did watch the first full season on TV, but now I don't know. Like, I don't dislike the show. I really love the show, but I just can't get into it on a weekly basis anymore. So, but I will be going back and checking it out on DVD or iTunes or something like that.
I will say season 1, I had a hard time getting through. I actually
Yeah.
skipped after halfway through and picked it up the last episode of the season, and then I picked up on the first episode of season 2, and I haven't looked back. I've caught every episode since. Supernatural, though, on the other hand, has a lot of throwaway episodes. I know at some point I think I may actually try to get some cast members from Arrow, maybe for an interview.
Cool.
I think that would be interesting. But only time will tell. So I think we'll move on to something else.
That would be
Batman.
Of course.
Have you actually seen the video yet for the upcoming DLC for Arkham Origins
Yeah.
for Mr. Freeze? It's basically like Heart of Ice.
Yeah.
And it plays out almost exactly like Heart of Ice at the very beginning. I'm actually super stoked for it because Mr. Freeze was actually one of the more challenging villains in the entire Batman Arkham City game. Because he actually learns you can't use the same tactic on him twice. So you have to actually think. So I think Maurice LaMarche will end up doing Freeze again, like he did in City.
So they didn't reveal who Freeze's voice was?
No, but I'm almost guessing it'll be Maurice because it's besides it being a younger version, he's still going to be in Ice.
Yeah, that's true. I find it absolutely interesting about Arkham Origins that they got the original Bullock back.
Oh, I know. I loved that. When I was
just
playing the
looking
game,
at it now.
I'm like, the voice. I'm like, it sounds familiar when I was playing it, and then I looked and I seen Bullock, and then I heard Bullock, and I'm like, Batman the Animated Series.
Yep.
And I'm like, yes, at least they had somebody. But Bullock's not in the other games, so that kind of made sense that they had him here.
Yeah. Let's see, what else we got? I guess we can talk about the TV pilot plot details for Gotham.
Yeah, we can do that. It's anyways. They're gonna have, of course, Commissioner Gordon, Harvey Bullock, 10 to 12-year-old Bruce Wayne. I've also seen reports of a 10 to 15-year-old Bruce Wayne, so it's probably going to be somewhere in that range. I would guess 15 would be better, but
yeah,
who knows? They're going to have the Penguin's origins, and then Will Smith's wife is basically going to be the one that gives Penguin his start. And then they're talking about calling them by their gangster phrase, like mopes, loony birds, skell huggers, sugar bunnies. It's like they're basically saying that it's going to alienate viewers if people are calling them that kind of stuff. They're like, especially if you have Alfred saying, "Oi, Master Bruce!
Yeah,
Spring City buggers, get your bloody ass down here!"
I don't have high hopes for Gotham, but I don't have low hopes for it either. I just want it to get here already.
I just want to see it at this point. I'm reserving judgment until I see it, because so far all of the castings actually look fitting.
Yeah, they do. They do.
So I'm actually quite excited, and hopefully we see something related to that
soon.
Yes.
I think the last thing we need to bring up is something we've meant to bring up in the last 2 episodes is Jason Huber's Unconventional.
Yeah, I'll have that in the show notes as well. But he has a video on Vimeo. He contacted us with it, and it's basically about a failed comic book writer, artist, and his misfit with the employees, trying to start a monthly pop culture convention called Wrath of Khan.
Wrath of Darkness.
No, thank you. But it's interesting. I watched it, and um, the concept is definitely original. It's um, cameras are pretty good on it. The acting's pretty good on it. Um,
hmm
I I'd like to see what they do with it next, because it's basically stuff you'd see your nerdy friends do.
Yeah, pretty much. I watched halfway through it. I enjoyed it. Um, so very cool, very cool.
The zombie bit was actually kind of funny. Um,
You mentioned that, and all I can think of is zombie bad guy.
but it's pretty funny what's going on throughout the video. A lot of geeky jokes, and then they even go as far as like animating part of it to look like a comic book.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And how like the endings are in the credits and stuff like that. So I mean, it's definitely something to check out. Hopefully, we'll see more from that in the future.
Yeah.
So I think with that, we will jump off this bandwagon and come back after a quick break.
I'll be here.
Where else are you gonna go?
Nobody else will have me. Seriously.
The taint of Primus?
No. You gotta use
taint
your
his
real
balls
voice.
and it taint his ass.
The taint of Primus.
I think that's right next to Kaon.
It hangs really low.
Seriously, no one else will have me? Come on, man.
Dangerously into the smelting pool. What? The peanut gallery doesn't care for that joke?
Oh.
Well, Aspinator likes it.
Waspinator needs to smelt away.
I will kill him here and there. I will make him Rampage's bear. Aspinator plays with Fleshy Bat.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's horrible.
10 minutes of brand new outtakes.
What do you think they do after?
What do you think they do after?
Oh my god.
Oh, that's perfect.
And
Are
now
we
we
sure
know
we're
what
not-
happened at the end of Transformers Cybertron.
You wondered what I did alone in my bathtub for so long.
Bayformer porn.
Before, oh, God.
He splooged all over the franchise.
I don't know. We're gonna.
Aspinator says that's bad comedy.
That's bad sodomy.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Aspinator says it's bad sodomy.
Lubrication Starscream. That's bad sodomy.
Starscream.
This is bad sodomy. Oh, I don't think you can do that. Or what's his name? Galvatron.
Yeah,
It is my destiny.
yeah, he can do crazy Welker Galvatron.
Crazy-
but I don't-
Yeah, but not the.
not the Nimoy.
Who does Nimoy?
Yep.
Well, it sure as hell wasn't me.
What does the Nimoy say? Haki haki haki.
That's Nimoy. Aspinator does.
Oh my god.
It is my destiny.
Oh.
We should probably record, or we could sit here and do this all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we're back, and we're going to get to some listener feedback and just kind of briefly touch on some of these since some of it was actually covered in the actual news area. Superfilm Fan 98 says regarding why Netflix doesn't have new releases streaming, there are a bunch of reasons. For one, studios won't do that because it would kill their home media revenue, and the amount of money Netflix would have to pay to get movies to stream the day they are released would probably not be worth it. Yes, iTunes gets movies, but iTunes also charges you for them. You can also get them on Amazon as well, but they cost at about the same. I'd love it if it would happen, but I don't expect it to. Probably about the getting everything kind of as a part of the package thing. So, sorry if it's a little lackluster of an answer. It's
no, it's true.
I wish that they would get this stuff sooner, but I don't necessarily like. I don't like buying digital. I just don't. I like having the physical disc that comes with the digital, but I don't like buying just plain digital. That's the only reason I haven't bought I Know That Voice is because I want it on DVD.
Yeah.
And if I get it on DVD and if it came with digital, like I would pay the extra to get it that way to have both, but I don't want to just buy one and then turn around and buy the other for the same price.
See, I'm almost I used to be that way. And now I'm almost the opposite. I mean, unless I absolutely have to have it on DVD, I had, and I will actually put this in the post if I can find the picture. I had 3 full DVD shelves of TV shows, cartoon animated series, multi-pack sets, and a whole DVD shelf of actual DVDs. Every time I would go over to it, it's like, seen that, don't feel like watching that, and I would just go back and channel surf or do something else. So now I'm like, if I really want something, I'll buy it on iTunes or I'll rent it on iTunes. Like if I need to see something like right away and I don't want to have to actually spend $14 to $20 to actually own it, and I can spend the $3 to rent it on iTunes, I'll do that. I think for me, the only thing, and it really isn't even this, I enjoy having the physical copies for soundtracks, but I still import them into iTunes and play them that way. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I've just kind of, over the last few years, I've kind of gotten out of my collecting, like, oh my god, I have to collect this, oh my god, I have to collect that, and I guess you could say I still collect I just started collecting comic books, but at the same time, for anyone that hasn't listened to the Pull Bag yet, what I do is, like, say, for example, the Batman issues, I'll wait 6 or 8 months and I'll take them back up to the comic shop to get the trade. Like, I'll trade them in for credits and whatever else, because I don't need, a stack a mile high of singles when I could just have a stack mile high of a bunch of different trade paperbacks.
No, it makes sense.
Yep.
Then, of course, there's a Joker discussion that goes on.
Yes.
Some of the many comments were Joker without Batman is like eating a jelly sandwich without peanut butter, which is basically the gist of it. King of Kong says, I see what you guys are saying regarding not wanting Joker in the Gotham series. I don't think I'd want him either. But I wonder, will we get Batman or a form of Batman? I look at all of Batman's villains as a reaction of Batman. If Penguin is in it and can be defeated by the likes of Gordon, does that hurt the need for Batman?
And I replied to that. I don't remember what my reply was. Basically, I don't think that hurts the need for Batman. Because the way that I understand that they're doing this series is it's as Bruce is young, and the way that I assume, because of just stuff I've seen online, is how they're going to do it is they're going to show Bruce growing up and becoming, getting to that point where we know him. Kind of like what Zero Year is doing in the current Batman ongoing title from Scott Snyder, where we see him at different ages in that, and he's leading up to the moment where he's like, I'm Batman, I believe I saw somewhere, and I cannot be for certain if this is true or not. I believe I saw somewhere that they said that the ultimate goal is to have Batman appear in like the second or third to last episode or the final 3 episodes of the series whenever the series does end. The problem with that kind of advanced announcement is, what if this series, as we said last week and the week before, what if this series only gets 1 season? Are they gonna show Batfleck at the end of season 1? If it gets canceled, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I really don't know. I do think that it would hurt it if they can be taken down like that.
Yeah.
But again, it's hard to say without seeing how they're talking about it. Like Penguin, I could see getting taken down because he's just a dude. But the
Yeah.
rest of them, like even maybe the Riddler before he becomes the Riddler, even then I couldn't see that because he wasn't really created until Batman showed up. Same thing with the Joker and Two-Face and all these other guys. So I mean, there's really no way you can connect any of them until you have Bruce as a young adult.
Yeah.
Maybe as like mob thugs, but that would be pretty boring for seasons.
Yeah, it'd be like watching Batman Begins on an endless loop.
Basically, just without
Yeah.
him actually hitting Batman.
Yeah.
Jedi Disaster says, I'm not sure if I fall in line with the idea that the Joker is a reaction to Batman. I always thought the Joker was a reaction to himself and attracted to Batman because he finally found a kindred spirit who is similar to him but went the other way with it. I think that yes, he is a reaction to himself, but if you go according to the Dark Knight thing, and yeah, he's himself, but if you go pretty much any other origin, Batman knocks him to the vat at Ace Chemical, bleaches his skin, drives him nuts, and he becomes the Joker. So therefore, he's infatuated with the Bat because he lost his mind because the Bat knocked him in. So, yeah, he was a thug before, but he was nothing more than a thug. Like, it wasn't until he fell on that pit that he lost his marbles.
Yep.
Andre says that there's only one interpretation of the Joker as far as what I said of the falling in the vat. He says, one I don't care for, but I agree, don't have the Joker. He shouldn't show up in Gotham before Batman does. It's like having the biggest boss on the first level.
Yeah.
But I prefer the vat over anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, to make this episode just a hair shorter this week, because we're doing an altered, or not an altered, Geekcast Radio episode, which will hopefully be out soon, we're going to cover soundtracks that we enjoy.
Oh boy!
I guess we can
All
pick
right.
our top 5 favorites. It can be from games, movies, TV shows, whichever.
Wow.
Open the floor.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to think. Well, my favorite last year was Iron Man 3, pretty much all year. Because Brian Tyler did an amazing job with that. I also like his work on Transformers Prime. I'd say one that's kind of off the beaten path for me is the fact that Hans Zimmer did the Days of Thunder soundtrack from the 1990 film. Absolutely love that instrumental music in that. As far as like actual soundtracks that are not scores, that are actual, something like legal song, or not licensed artist songs, I would have to say certain songs on the Daredevil soundtrack from 2003. See, that's the thing with soundtracks with me for actual licensed songs. I don't entirely like the entire soundtrack. I might like one or two songs. But when it comes to scores, if it's something that I recognize, absolutely will listen to it on an endless loop. Really, really will. And my relationship with La La Land Records proves that because they have so much awesome music coming out. They've released four. No, in total they've released 6 discs of Batman the Animated Series. There was one volume, and then it's 2 discs, and another volume that is 4 discs. And it's all BTAS music. They just released Superman the Animated Series. Absolutely love that. And yeah, I mean, for me, I like if I can attach myself to the music in the movie, I'm gonna want to listen to the soundtrack. Again, going back to Brian Tyler, who at this moment is probably my number one favorite composer at this time. That could change, but he did the scoring for Now You See Me, and I absolutely love that.
That was such a great movie.
Yeah, so great.
There's going to be a sequel too.
Yep. What about you?
I actually have quite a few that I enjoy. I, like you, enjoy soundtracks. Probably not to the extent you do, but I do. I do put them very high on my list. I have actually quite a few that I enjoy listening to. A lot of it is DC related. I have the Batman the Animated Series, the Batman Beyond movie. I enjoy the Arkham game music, which I have. It's interesting. I'll just leave it at that. How some of it is. I have it for the. I think I have it for all 3. I just can't remember. I have one of them backed up on my external hard drive, but I really enjoy that that series. I enjoy. I have like an Ace Ventura soundtrack. There's
You would.
Yes, I would. I happen to enjoy the Transformers Prime, the Transformers the movie soundtracks, like not the live action, the animated stuff. And then I've tried to obtain the Beast Wars stuff, which that'll never see the light of day. I've just through other geeks and YouTube, I've managed to find them, most of them.
Yeah, I have hopefully I have a suggestive plan for that in the future. Going to attempt to use my connections to persuade some people to work on Beast Wars and Beast Machines.
That would be spectacular to see those hit disc.
Yeah,
I would be raving like mad fanboy, like going crazy. No, I have those. I like the Monsters University soundtrack. It's very upbeat. There's some parts that it clearly plays the scary part down.
Yeah,
but I like a lot of the tracks that are in it. The funny thing is the soundtrack does not come with one of the songs that's featured twice in the film.
Which one?
It's the one where they, it's where he's coming to the university, and it's the same song when he's, when it shows Mike and Sully going to work for Monsters Inc. and starting out at the bottom, and it goes through the credits, and then it finishes off right when they're actually going to the scare room. And they don't include that one song on the soundtrack. You have to go to the people's site and buy it separately. It's not a part of the real soundtrack.
Really, that's weird.
To which I was quite disappointed because I was like, it's a part of the movie, and it was actually my favorite track from the movie.
How many tracks are on the soundtrack?
I want to say 21.
There's
It's 21.
no.
It's 20, and then 21 is that song.
Oh, really? That's weird. That's weird since that's Randy Newman's music. I don't get that at all. Yeah, you're right.
Well,
Wow.
it's not actually. I don't know if it's actually. Yeah, it's all him, except
No,
for.
except for Roar is Axwell's and Sebastian Ingrosso.
And then the closing is called Gospel, and
Ah.
it's done by the March 4th marching band,
Hmm.
um, which I enjoyed that track quite a bit. Um, but like I said, that it was surprising that that track wasn't included. Um,
Yeah, for me soundtracks are really awesome because they're from media that I've watched over and over and over again. That's why I'm so happy that I have the Batman Beyond discs, the Superman the Animated Series discs. Now, the Batman Beyond discs, those are actually old. Those are from '99 when the show was still going on. I do know for a fact that the goal for the DC animated universe is to have all of the soundtracks released. So hopefully we'll get a new Batman Beyond release at some point. Um, but yeah, I mean, for me, it depends. Like, it depends on what kind of mood I'm in to listen to soundtracks. I usually have to, while I write the review, obviously for certain things, I have to listen to that piece of, like I'm currently working on writing up reviews for Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions for the soundtracks from La La Land Records. So I can't just sit there not doing anything and listen to the music. I have to sit here, listen to the music, and then start writing as I'm listening to talk about the music. But yeah, for the most part, I love soundtracks. They're just so awesome because it it brings you into the movie without actually having to watch the movie or the TV show or the cartoon or whatever you want to talk about.
and I think that soundtracks are actually more important than what people think because I've watched a lot of the modern TV shows, um,
Mm-hmm.
with that kind of office vibe to them.
Mm-hmm.
And having no background sound or music is annoying. It to me those help make the show.
Yeah.
It's just I especially like I said I love the film ones most of all, but animated series ones that definitely hits home for me. I love seeing those. Um, I just wish that we could find a lot more of them on disc.
Yeah.
Even if it's, even if they just pop them out for like, 10, $12. I mean, just so we could see them. I mean,
Which ones are you interested in
well,
for them to?
I'm kind of interested in, I'm hoping that Beast Wars and Beast Machines and Reboot, um,
Right.
maybe Animaniacs with, like a $20 or $25 or $30 disc or something with all of their songs on it.
I'm surprised
With
that
like
Rob
Randy
Paul's.
Rogel and all of
Yeah.
those guys. I would love to see I would pay $30 for a disc set, a 2 disc set or something with all of their songs, or 4 disc set with all of their songs or something. I mean, I would actually go for that. I enjoy the songs so much on Animaniacs and the like that I would actually pay for it.
I'm really surprised that Randy Rogel and Rob Paulson and all those Animaniacs people haven't done that already. I do know that Rob does schedule musical Ustream shows, part of his Talking Tunes with Randy every now and then. And you would think with the relationship that La La Land Records has with WB, with Warner Brothers, that somebody could get that done. Because what I would really love is I'd love that for Animaniacs. I'd also love to hear the background music in Tiny Toon Adventures. Um, who knows? I mean,
Maybe that is
But
in the works. I mean, I don't know. I'd love to see it, but
Yep.
um, I think it more so has to do with I think they got to get Spielberg and WB to agree to it because
Yeah.
that's not up to those guys.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
just allowed to use it on the road. They're not.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No. But I'm saying that,
I'm surprised that some of them can't say, "Hey, nudge, nudge." The fans would love it,
yeah.
or I don't know, come out with a collector's set of all the seasons and have the discs come with them, bundle it.
hmm Now, I know people are going to probably chastise me in the comments for this. Uh, this is kind of soundtrack, but not really. This is like 80s soundtrack here. And you're probably going to roll your eyes when I say this. What I thought was really ingenious for a soundtrack release that wasn't an actual CD is when Shout Factory did the Gem Jukebox on the complete series DVD set, where you could actually sit there and play through all the songs that they featured in the Gem cartoon. I thought that was a kind of a neat DVD feature that I've never seen before, really.
Hmm.
Um, uh, but yeah, soundtracks are a huge part of my life. Not just because La La Land Records sends me stuff for review, but just because I love them. I mean, I've got a whole stack here from them. I've got Lethal Weapon, the two Matrix things, Superman the Animated Series, Bonnie and Clyde, Batman Brave and the Bold. I've got a whole stack dating back to 2012, almost 2 years worth of music, and I just put them in iTunes, and when the mood hits me right, I'll hit play on a playlist, and bam. I'll tell you two individual 2 disc sets that I listen to all the time. Green Lantern the Animated Series, Volumes 1 and 2. Absolutely love it. Frederick Wildman was absolutely amazing composing that stuff.
Believe it or not, I've never actually seen that show.
You're doing yourself a disservice.
I know. I haven't had the opportunity to watch it yet, so it's. I think it's out on DVD, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to pick that up at some point.
Yep.
The other one I think would be kind of cool is Beware the Batman.
If the show ever gets more than 8 episodes, yeah.
It's got 13.
Well, they haven't aired the other ones yet. Jerks.
No, they did.
Oh, well.
I caught them on TV, so. I remember it very, very fondly. But I'm still kind of like, yeah, I hope that they, do something.
Yeah.
Well, never know. I hope that the show comes back, but I sincerely doubt it because it's WB and
it's Cartoon Network.
or not WB. That's what I meant. Cartoon Network sucks.
GL Volume 1, which is the first half of Season 1, came out a couple years ago. Volume 2 is supposed to be June 25th of this year, I believe. So, there you go.
So, I think we've taken this as far as we can go.
Yes, we have.
So, with that, like I said earlier in the episode, we'll have more information about the contest in the coming weeks, and stay tuned for Geekcast Radio with multiple episodes coming, as well as the awards reveal next week. So there's that to look forward to. So until next time, thank you for joining us for Altered Geek Unlimited. You can contact us in the following ways. You can call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. You can email us feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can visit the episode post on the website, geekcastradio.com. You can visit the Facebook fan page by searching Geekcast Radio Network. You can contact us on Twitter @GeekCastRadio, #AlteredGeek. My Twitter handle is SCP21, and yours is, sir?
SCP-22.
Right.
Steve, you and Mike.
So until next time, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks.